Hello, and thank you for joining us again on Transcending Ascension for this important information that has come through about the earth and the mother. The earth is our mother. The earth is our ultimate mother. The earth is all of our mother. She is going through this ascension birth process, bigger than us, almost ahead of us, but with us, and we as her children need to help her. Now, if you want to know if you're a good child to your mother or not, do you honor her? Do you provide for her? Now, as a good mother, she provides us food. She provides us shelter. She provides us things that will take care of us. But as good children, we need to remember that the female is the negative. The female on that side of the battery is the receiver. She needs to receive energy. Yes, she will nurture and provide because she is a good mother, but as the negative, this is why she needs, from the positive, she has the sun. The sun is great to the mother. In this relationship between sun and earth, it would seem that the father is there for the earth. And if it's not there enough, I'm betting it would have something to do with our own energy, because one thing that has been made very clear is that the human is the one in control of the game. This entire situation, with whatever it's with, if it's with ETs, if it's just with ascension energy, if it's with past, if it's with future, if it's with just the global forces that go on with higher humans, regardless, the human is in charge, and the more humans, the greater the force. So what does this mean? What are we saying here? And we're tying it with the mother. But the human story is where our reality finds itself. Because for all we know, in the way realms and paradigms and veils and the dimensions, the densities, how they work, is that Mother Earth could very well be her own flesh being walking around in her own universe. And how she presents to us is as the earth. This is how these things are layered. Like, all the thoughts in our head can come from separate living beings out there somewhere living their own reality. It's how interlayered existence is. So we have to keep all of this in mind and not go crazy when you're working through your emotions, your feelings, and everything you're doing. So, but one thing that everything in this universe is going to work off of is the positive and the negative, without exception. That could be in a separate universe, but as far as our sensing goes, as far as the things that we perceive as affecting us go, it's only in this universe. So don't worry about what's beyond. That's fun to think about, but what's in this universe is positive and negative. Now, the sun is the positive, and the moon is also the negative, but the earth is the negative. The earth is negative. Now, she holds her own version. This is why if we stand on her like the battery, she can recharge our ions. So our Mother Earth being negative, I keep saying this because what does this mean? This means your mother will provide for you, but you also have to give back to her. Just like your human mother, you need to remember your human mother and honor your human mother. If you're disrespectful to one mother, you're going to be disrespectful to another. And that's our earth. That feminine negative energy needs you to provide for her. So what does that mean with earth? What are ways we could provide for her? Well, cleaning her, cleaning up after her, cleaning garbage up, cleaning out the oceans. This, when it comes to providing for her, you cannot count yourself as being a provider of mother if you're just not polluting. Oh, I provide, I recycle. That's not providing, and the rumors on recycling vary, and it's probably different on your area. So what is providing for mother? Well, for example, we just got a Christmas tree a bit ago, and I didn't like the idea of it, but then there's that honoring. It is an old pagan tradition. What am I doing? I'm obviously eating and living from the earth anyways. Is it a barbaric tradition? What can I do? Well, I can honor the mother. And so when we took the tree, I left an honoring. I watered the area and left fertilizer to later produce another tree. And this is how we honor the mother. there's more ways you can honor the mother. Rudolf Steiner actually wrote, and when I open my children's program, it will include the Rudolf Steiner agricultural program that describes like working off the moon and things like that. So you have ways where you can simply grow and take from your mother in a nicer way. Like even as a mother, when she makes you a sandwich, you don't have to go, give it to me now. You could go, thank you, mommy, and stay with her and talk to her as she's making the sandwich, right? There's different ways as your human mother does stuff to you, for you, that you can learn to do it nicer for her. If she's cleaning her room, help her clean it. If she's anything she's doing for you, she probably wants you to be there, because the female likes communication. The female likes talking. We all know girls love talking. So that goes with our mother too of earth. You can play her toning frequencies. Any of the frequencies of the positive healing frequencies are going to be good for her as well as us. Whatever's good for us, like food, but for her we call it fertilizer, water, same for her, water, cleaning the rain. There's so many things we need to do to fix this mother-child relationship where we are honoring her and bringing, because if there's a problem with the divine feminine, there's a problem with her, and it comes from overtaking from the mother, which we absolutely do. It doesn't even rely on our population though. The mother can hold so many more people. Apparently everybody on the earth can be held in one New York block, or like, I forget the statistics, but it's shocking that we humans can squeeze into a very tiny space of what Earth actually is if we're all just standing on the ground. It's not actually taking up that much space. So the whole overpopulation thing, it's not an overpopulation problem. It's an overpollution problem. This whole talk of global warming has always upset me from the get-go. It was always obvious. Why are we talking about global warming? There's pollution. Why are we ignoring the ocean is a filter for the earth, just like we know the Amazon is, as all trees are, but especially the Amazon, and it's getting chopped down like something like a terrible amount of acres a day, which just hurts my heart to think about, because there's so much magic and healing herbs, like the cures to everything exist within the Amazon. And no wonder they want to cut it down, and they're guaranteed stealing the plants. I bet you $1 million they have their own scientists ahead of the tree cutters checking to make sure they get all the good stuff, because the Amazon is filled from things. Fun fact, apparently it was populated something along the lines of 500,000 years ago, and then the timelines vary, but with millions and millions of people. They had like a metropolitan civilization with their own form of electricity that worked off those pyramids and towers, and they would have other structures in a Tesla-like situation. And they are the ones that cultivated the Amazon. The Amazon being so magic is not an accident. They pulled down, and apparently they were intergalactic, and they're like the Mayans' original civilization. The Mayans are a bigger story than we realize. And they are the ones who actually farmed and created the Amazon as it is. So that's exactly what we could do for the rest of the earth, is we can take, we're already doing it, but they're doing it, some of us are doing it in a good way. Permaculture, if you've heard of it, look into it if you haven't, is a fantastic way to go. But I think studying the Amazon and trying to get to the root of what they did there, Rudolf Steiner's way of teaching us how to grow things properly by literally, like with the stars, with the constellations, like you can pair it all together, how every planet has its own energies. You can work with that with growing, and that's all working with your mother. Like if you were to brush your mother's hair, are you going to rip through it, which is factory farming, which is the way they monocrop and dry up the dirt and then don't even care? I watch it. I live in farm country. They grow the same crops on it over and over and over again. And it's, oh my God. You get the odd one that'll grow a crop of pumpkins in the fall, but you should never grow the same crop twice. And that's why permaculture, it's almost like if you know the, what's Atlantean, like how it was all circles, you grow in that kind of situation where you have like one crop beside the other that helps protect all the crops. And when you're thinking crops, you're also thinking the mother. The mother is feeding you of herself. So every crop is also the mother. It's all the mother. And how can you treat her right? Think of her as a person. Just like we want to, and that's still like a byproduct of the mother, because we're all a byproduct of the mother. Like, this whole game is you and your parents. As a human, as the earth, as the sun, everything we are doing in this reality is going to psychologically, emotionally, and life-sustainingly, I can't think of a better word for that, your life-sustaining, the life-sustaining of the earth, the life-sustaining of the sun, the life-sustaining of us, is all in relation to the parents and the children, us, and how that works, and how just the whole, that's the story. That whole, why do you think we don't get along with our parents to such a fundamental degree? I don't think you can find anybody. You'll find people that'll go, oh yeah, no, my mother and father were great. They were so amazing. That's because they're in this old deities, you know, they're deifying their parents, because the human is not perfect. There's no single perfect human out there, and the really saged ones didn't have children. So and Buddha himself abandoned his child. You know, for all we know, Jesus did too. There's rumors, not necessarily that he abandoned them, but that he took off with them. Could you imagine having Jesus as your dad? He'd be on the road like a musician. Like, there's no perfect parent relationship. It's 11:11. There's no perfect relationship happening in that regard, because I think it's coming back. We used to honor the father, and the father, and I'm no different to my actual parents. I know I mention my dad here more because honestly he's the one that probably traumatized me more, but I'm a starseed, so I'm easily traumatized. But my mom is the one that I was like, I wish I could have been nicer to her. She's gone now. So I'm literally handed this mission here of knowing that if you don't honor the mother enough, and even if she's not providing what you need, well, she's a negative, okay? She's a negative. So she needs to be given a lot. And we get this attitude. I had it myself. Why should I give you anything? You're the mom. You're just supposed to help me. You're supposed to love me. You're supposed to be there for me. And maybe that's true, but we have to play that game. We're working out a thing here. Like this, I know the answers are, I love that tangledness behind me as I'm doing this, because that's exactly what it is. It's a tangled web right now of fixing the relationship with the mother. I know it's possible. My own mother is now with me, literally, and it's now the mission of just that next level. It's always been the mission, but like that message is coming through clear of what are we supposed to do to make this a positive ascension? How do we make this a positive ascension? We fix their relationship with the mother. Okay, so oceans are the air's filtration system. So clean them. And then they say we need to stop consuming. Billy Carson once talked, and I believe it, like just on that intuitive level, of technology that can exist to shrink garbage down to like nothing but a speck. Now, assuming that's not cosmically detrimental, because I couldn't pretend to understand the quantum physics science that would possibly go into that, we need to start planning for things like that. There is a kid that invented the ocean sweeper. Okay, well, let's get more of those. And let's clean the, oh, well, then you get fish stuck in it. So I don't know. We need to think of these things, though. This is the things to work on. Clean the ocean. Stop chopping down the Amazon. That sounds pretty easy to me. Oh my God, you won't get palm oil anymore? Oh, well. Are you insane? Are you insane? But then people waste it and cry, oh, the orangutans, you're killing them. Yeah, I agree, that's sad, but don't you wonder if you realize, like, you're saying something, it's not working, the people don't care. On an issue as big as cutting down the Amazon, you can make them care for a different reason. Start bringing the subject out bigger. For palm oil and all these things that are insanely not necessary too. And how about tell them cutting down the rainforest doesn't just kill the orangutans, it kills you. We are already breathing toxic air. There's forever chemicals in the air, there's forever chemicals in the rain, there's forever chemicals in the ground. Like there's not that someone obsessed with trying to be organic, that's just gets to you, because you're like, oh my God, no matter what I do, it's just everywhere. But that's the mother. That's in the mother. Imagine if we started giving to her. Giving her. Give. So instead of overly obsessing Like, so stop hurting her. That's just stop hurting her. But then when it comes to fixing her, we have so many things that we can do, and that is bringing nutrition back into the soil, mass fertilization. Why are you talking about how the soil is losing nutrition, but you're not fertilizing it? They show these areas like, oh, look at this, blah, 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 blah. Did you throw it out? I'm not seeing any fertilizer in those images. None at all. And fertilizer is so easy to get. You sort through the garbage that we have tons of and start fertilizing it. I don't know if this happened everywhere, but in Canada, especially Ontario, I can't even say if this is all of Canada, but it's all of Ontario, they switched out the thin plastic bags for cloth bags. It's like a cloth material that's kind of rough, and I got one right there. And you figured there'd be one there. This is a boxy version of it because they made them into boxes too that you could get, and yes, I have them. But they're they're reusable. Well, as a very forgetful person, I could just imagine the people that would buy them again and again and again and again. And some of them are 30 cents. That one's like $4, $6, $11, depending on the quality you're getting. It doesn't matter. But we had thin plastic bags. Not saying they're great, but you switch them for thick, harder material that seems to me is going to cause more space in landfills. And it's also made of a plastic. It's just made of a thicker plastic that's woven together, thicker than the thin plastic. And they say, oh, well, plastic takes blah, blah, hundreds of thousands or millions of years to decompose. Okay, so think of things that are going to decompose it faster, okay? Also, when they came out with a new idea for bags, why weren't they biodegradable? Biodegradable bags already exist. Some places already, like, they just have them because you're already making us pay for the bags. So make us pay for the biodegradable bags. Oh, duh. Like, that sounds rude and teenager, but like, hello. Like, really? So do you think these things are an accident? No. This is what goes back to what my main thing is always with sovereign discernment. Get up and do it yourself. And if you're a scientist, that's fantastic. If you care about engineering, that's fantastic. There's a whole market now opening up. And the one thing that's being taken off the lid, thankfully, because of certain things, is that the whole standard of science is going to move. I think that's one thing we're going to see a shift in. Like, you don't question the science. Oh my God. You're supposed to question science. I'm sorry, look at healthcare like 100 years ago and then now. If we hadn't questioned the science, they used to strap mothers, they used to strap women in harnesses to deliver their baby. I found paperwork when my grandma died, and I put it on my Instagram a million years ago, if you want to go find it, of what they used to do in the 60s. And she just had to sign off on this. This was just the sheet to tell her what was going to, actually, she didn't even have to sign off on it. I'm thinking my own paperwork. This was just telling her what was what. And it was, you will be sedated, you will have they talked with the harnesses, the baby will be taken for blah blah amount of time, the baby will blah blah blah. It was so scary. And here I thought, like, when I had my daughter, I didn't do the midwife thing, because I stupidly let my doctor talk me out of it. I didn't even have a doctor then on. I don't have a doctor anymore. Never let it go that because you're pregnant and you're scared and you don't want to do the wrong thing for your child. And that was about 9 years ago now, almost 10, where I was awakening and I knew better, but I wasn't strong enough yet to be like, no, I'm getting a midwife. So anyways, had a doctor. The hospital was creepy. Like, they do not honor the mother. They do not honor the mother. We are not honoring the mother. They grabbed my baby and scrubbed her down with Johnson's baby soap, even though I was protesting. Oh God, there were so many things that they just dishonored. They made me stay in the hospital for 3 days, even though she was perfectly healthy, because I had her right before midnight and they were too lazy to do the paperwork. And at the next night, and then the previous night, you have to stay for 24 hours. That's the rule. What is there a rule about my child? When I had a midwife, there still was 3 hours. The moment 3 hours was up, okay, bye. 3 hours actually makes a little bit of sense. Because 3 hours, whatever. Good for you that do home births. I still was ever too scared to do that. That's not because doctors scared me. It was just my own, I'd rather be safe than sorry and do it there. Just because, right? You never know. And I never wanted to have that over my head if something had to have gone wrong and if I had been there. But at least I was 100% my own boss. When I had my third son, and that was one of the nurses, third child, sorry, second son, you kept sticking one of those hats on him. And it was scratchy. And there's like judgment there because I didn't bring him a tiny baby hat. No, I didn't bring him. I think I did, but it was in the bag. And excuse me, I was busy delivering a child. And oh my God, scratchy hat. I kept taking it off. She kept putting it back on. Like there was no honoring of the mother. I am his mother, and he's my third child. Like by your third, I was a pro. When I delivered my child, I talked in my Sunday service that I was. That thought just completely left. That is really weird. That is really weird. That was just taken from me. Is that God saying, get back to the point, don't talk about delivering your children? Okay. We need to honor the mother, and that is in the sacred ground. That is in frequencies and playing her frequencies. And sound healing the actual earth is something we could do. That's why I keep saying that fact. That is something we can do, is play sound frequencies for the earth, fertilize the earth. I have one of those fertilize, and I don't like getting in there to get it out, but it's one of the stirring ones, because one of the stirring ones can make sure that you get proper soil. It irrigates it automatically, and it provides it oxygen, has little holes in it. It was like $150 a couple years ago now, probably more. That's in Canada though, so if you're in America, it'll be a lot cheaper. Stuff in America is so much cheaper than in Canada. Canada is ridiculous, but again, off topic. So sound heal your earth, sound heal your land, sound heal. If you live in a building, go find land to sound heal. And the best land is land that needs it. So like a full functioning forest, it's great to honor the forest, especially if you take anything, because I like to go and get logs and rocks and stuff, and I'll always leave something behind because you need to give her something. And it's not because you have to, like the old pagan things. They used to poo on the pagans for all their sacrifices and the things they would do in the name of whatever they were calling the god. But the truth is that mother, and it's ironic that they were doing it in the name of the father a lot of the time. The father is a provider. That's your positive. The father can give. You can thank him. I'm sure dad likes a thanks, but dad likes to give, right? Where the mother's the one that actually needs the gifts. If you're honoring, don't sacrifice anything alive, but your fruits, your vegetables, composting, come on, you can compost. And you don't have to compost everything. I don't. I just make sure to, because as a mother, it'll drive you nuts because there's so many things. So I just make sure to compost so there's enough to give back to the earth. It depends. If you're a single person, you could probably compost everything to make enough compost. And just keep it flowing, keep it going. Give back to her. She's the mother. And however much you take, and if you're a farmer, fertilize your earth, change out your crops. Don't grow the same thing every time. Grow lots of different things. Don't take one big giant plot of land and grow only one thing. Grow a bunch of different things, because the things are working together. They speak to each other, and they provide nutritions to each other. Some of them fight, so you got to learn which ones will fight. Like there's some that don't like each other, they'll go to war. Like I know tomatoes are one that can't be. They're very specific on who they can be with, and because we know that like, oh, this plant likes sun and this plant doesn't. But they even kind of know herbs, like, oh, these herbs can be together, these don't. Like when I was, because I started as a herbalist, and they already are getting there, but it's not enough. We all know that the soil is drying up. We all know that there's pollution, yet we want to talk about so many different things in politics and society. That to barf. Get out of that. That's just clearly crap to keep you busy. Anything that's chit with no doing, paperwork, bureaucracy. Hitchhiker's Guide with the Galaxy had that correct. The bad guys in the story were just bureaucrats. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was profound early awakening information for me, funny enough. But it's so true. It's so true. It's bureaucracy. Don't be doing. Get your hands dirty in the dirt. Give back to your mother. Go just crack an egg on the ground. Stir it into the dirt. Like, it's so good for her. Even in your own land, like if you're just growing in your own yard, take dirt from one side of the yard and put it to the other, and that side to that side. If you have dirt that's drying up, take a whole chunk, move it over there, take a whole chunk of the good stuff and put it back over there. Don't worry about grass. Slowly but surely I've been taking out the grass. It's mostly just cloves. I kept trying to grow thyme. It actually never took. I tried year after year after year to get thyme to grow, because thyme is any creeping vine will take over the ground. I keep trying. Some of it's going, it's just not going fast enough. I have this other plant that was here when I got here, but because I don't maintain the gardens, I let them just be natural. Like, it's total poison ivy and Batman. Like, I idolize her. Like, that's what I want. And it grows and grows and grows and grows. Fun story though, roses. I let my roses go nuts. My poor daughter she came. I'm like, what happened? I was like, oh my gosh, is your tooth okay? She's like, my tooth's fine. I'm like, what happened? She walked into the rose bush. I went out with being a mom. Went out there. I tried to let you. You hurt my baby. So I trimmed down the roses. So there's certain things you're gonna have to trim, like roses, and there is certain natural things that will get greedy and take over your yard. There's this certain kind of tree here. It's called a maple something. It's not the maple. It's a different variation. And will just grow. I let it grow along my fence line. Yay, free privacy fence. So it took over my fence line, and I'm letting it. And there's some other areas I'm letting it. But other than that, you do have to cut it, because it'll just grow and grow and grow and take your whole yard. Like, if you abandon your house, it'd be a forest in like a year. And there's a few things, but mostly you can let it grow. Like, I remember when there was like garlic mustard people complained about, but it's just this tiny little plant that grows like grass. So by all means, let garlic mustard take over your yard, and you can pick it and use it as a herb. So this can go. Like, let your yards go. If you have grass, no thank you. I don't want to be judgy, but who cares what your neighbors say? Like, who cares? One thing I'll warn you though, is when I first moved in, I tried to let a meadow grow, the grass takes over. The grass is a dominant force. Like, in your yard, you'll watch that there's like wars happening. Grass is dominant. So I would go out there by hand and just literally rip up the grass, and then plant wildflower seeds and thyme, but it would never take. But even if nothing that you planted takes, the other stuff, the cloves and stuff, are going to come in first before grass does. So, and then that's how I've gotten my yard to be taken over mainly by cloves. And then this other viney thing ivory. Ivory's come out, and just grown and grown and grown, which is just beautiful. So I will let this end here, but honor your mother. She's the negative. She will provide for you, but she needs gifts. She needs to be taken care of. She's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. She needs love. She needs affection. She needs to be talked to. She needs good music, healing frequencies. Love your mother. Be there for your mother, and she's going to be there for you. She's still trying to be there for you. She just needs help. She's sick. She needs healing. But we can do it. She has endless healing powers just like we do. She's immortal just like we can be. She exists in other realities just like we do. So honor, love, provide for your mother.